Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man! At your services. How are you all? We're doing very well. Now, again, it's breakfast time. So this is before I start work. And I've just remembered I've got this great big box here to open. Yes, if you've been keeping up with the current videos, you'd know that this arrived. Our friend, you know him, you love him, Steve 007 Smith sent another mystery canvas to me. And yesterday, I showed you that box and I gave my premonitions as to what might be within it. I think I'm way off the mark this time, folks, genuinely way off the mark. And then I went out to the boozer, but I said I'm going to come back and open it, probably several sheets to the wind. Well, I was out for a lot longer than I thought. So yeah, part of my prophecy came true. I did come back several sheets to the wind. So, and then I just crashed out on the couch, had music on blasting dead loud all night long, and completely was too comatose to attempt to open this box. So, what were the clues for this one? His clue was, let's see if I can remember this now. This is a quote. I thought I was being totally left field with this canvas art. And then in brackets, but obviously not. And then you'll see why when you open it. This one's from the vaults. So I thought, well, okay, so you thought you'd been different, something different I wouldn't expect. And then obviously, but obviously not, because I've obviously talked about it. I've used the word obviously a lot there, obviously. Because in the last few videos I've been discussing James Bond and Voodoo for some reason. I'm playing Voodoo music right now. So I thought, it's got to be James Bond. And to my knowledge, no, he hasn't. You have not sent me a single James Bond artwork canvas at all. And you are James Bond. You are Steve 007 Smith. You are the king of Bond. So I'm a big devotee of Bond. So, it is strange that that's not happened as yet. So I was thinking, it's got to be Bond. It's got to be Bond. And I was talking about Live and Let Die, which is the Bond Voodoo mashup. So Bond, Voodoo, and this thing about the vaults. This one's from the vaults. So I was thinking of the old Amicus movie, The Vault of Horror. But I thought, you're not going to use the word vault in the title if vault is what it is. It'd be something like that though. Voodoo, I was thinking, of course, the classic Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, where they're all stuck in a train compartment, and you've got Peter Sellers, Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing is the old sort of, the guy with the tarot cards, and he reads all their fortunes. And you've got Roy Castle there, who genuinely was a great trumpet player, and jazz player, instrumentalist. And he goes to Haiti. Peter Cushing, as Dr. Death, tells him his story that he goes to Haiti and he nicks a voodoo tune, a voodoo riff, comes back to London and the club scene and makes it big time, like. And but there's got to be a price to pay, obviously. So when they all get off at this strange station, but where are we? And the mist all encircles them. Who are you? Dr. Death turns around and he's just a skeleton, obviously. It's great. It's Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, but for my money, it's actually my favourite one amongst them. And it won't be in that box either. But other than that, really, where'd you go with that? I thought I was being totally left field. There's probably a huge clue in that. I was being totally left field. Field of Dreams? No, couldn't be that. I hope it isn't that. I'm not a fan of it. Cheers, y'all. Yes, it's breakfast whiskey. I've got to keep the liver topped up. I've got to give it something to do. Throughout the ensuing hours of toil, keeping the nation safe. Right, folks. Ski and do at the ready. Playlist of voodoo tracks from all sorts of movies. And here is the box. And I resisted all temptation. So just rip it open and be done with it. No. Let's get this right. I always bring this and I don't even need it. You can just rip that open and flip it back like so. But you've got to cut the cellophane that's on the inside. So what have I said? I mean, what would you work out from a clue like that? I thought I was being totally left field, but it turns out I wasn't, as you'll see when you open it. And this one's straight from the vaults. The vaults, that's horror, that, isn't it? Or is it vaults as in vintage Bond? I don't know, because I've just been covering Bond and I've got a load more Bond stuff to come. Wow. Okay, so here it is, folks. In its cellophane and cardboard cocoon. As usual, I'll slice it open and I'll rate it so you guys see it first. I mean, I don't think, has there ever been a time when I've actually been completely, oh my god, that's not what I expected at all. I mean, mostly I've either got it straight away, or I've kind of like, I've mentioned it, oh, it could be this, it could be that, and it's been one of the runners up in my presumptions. No, there's been a couple of times. I think the wedding one you did of me and Mrs. Kilt-Man getting hitched in Jamaica. Ian Fleming lived in Jamaica. GoldenEye, of course. Another connection there. I'm massively running down the wrong road, aren't I? I know. This time I think you've got me, sir. But anyway, skiing do. I've sliced it open. Drum roll, if you please. This is Truly Dread from Predator 2 by Alan Silvestri. The Calvin Lockhart about to get his head severed by the city predator, the city hunter. Oh Jesus, here we go. Here we go, folks. Apologies if it's upside down, I don't know, I can't tell. Plague of the Zombies? Well, okay. I didn't think of it, but Voodoo's definitely in there. And that's one of the things I've been covering lately, so, why didn't I think of that? Oh my god. With the new Hammer logo there. There he is. Oh, hang on a second. We can definitely get a bit more in tune with this. 1 second. Enjoy the blast of the Wallace tartan as I run past. Here's Mr. Kentucky Fudge, my young protege, wearing his Squire Hamilton, Clive Hamilton, played by the great John Carson, who's the English voodoo witch doctor creating zombies in Cornwall. There he is. Put you there. And that mask is what you see there, worn by Squire Hamilton. And there's the great Ben Arris as the main lead zombie, with his ping pong ball, pinhole eyes. Looks fantastic. Livid green. That is one of the original posters, by the way. There was a few. They always sported him, and they always sported a version of him carrying. He's actually carrying Jacqueline Pierce as poor Alice, and Alice has been fallen under the spell of Squire Hamilton, who's bewitched her, and then she's been caught by them, undergone a ritual sacrifice, and then her body's been hailed down the hill outside the old mine, the old tin mine, to be seen by her best friend, who witnesses all this, and he does this maniacal laugh as he hails her body down, and it's truly ghastly. I have, folks, just reviewed this big time, and that's what the irony is. Obviously, I thought it was being totally left field, but clearly not. You'll see why when you open it, because I've just done an hour and 20 minutes reviewing that the other day. I'll put the link below. There you go, look at that. That is astonishing. It is a great poster. And it clearly, it's a great Hammer style. It's also sort of what was going to herald the oncoming of all the zombie movies from George Romero onwards. This film was made in 1965, released 1966, but 1968 you would get George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, and then you get George Grau, who did in 1974, I think it was, his flesh-eating zombies at the Living Dead at the Manchester morgue. Spanish, German, Italian, Polish, Czechoslovakian, Russian, every country on the planet had an involvement in the making of that movie somehow. But again, and then you have Dawn of the Dead and zombie flesh eaters. You'd have posters where you'd have the world or somewhere being assaulted by legions of the undead. And look at them, you can see them all in the background. They're all rising. And look at the ghastly green palette. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the way it's, the fonts here, the way they've done that, is kind of hokey, isn't it? The plague of the zombies! But it's great. The green and the white really play well against each other. The blazing red eyes that he has, in actual fact in the movie, his eyes are really dark, you can't see his eyes. So they're not blazing red, but it looks great on this. The dead, decomposing flesh, the greeny palette that these guys have got, and their white ping pong ball lenses, makes it really stark and like very, very, abrupt and startling. It's a brilliant image. And I've got the soundtrack to it as well, so let's just get on a blast of that. There you go. James Bernard. Steve, mate, you got me. You genuinely got me. I didn't think to say it, but I was on the right path with the Voodoo. I was on the right path. But I wasn't thinking at all to do with this. I was thinking it was the Bond influence. It was something about Live and Let Die and Baron Samedi. No, it was more obvious and more overt than that. That is a corker, that though. It is, as I've said quite a lot, that my favourite Hammer movie of all time is Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter. You've sent me that poster on a canvas art. I also love Curse of the Werewolf for obvious reasons, werewolfery. You've sent me that one, that's awesome. But my second proper favourite movie really out of the entire Hammer canon is Plague of the Zombies, which I totally adore. And now you've got me that as well. Oh mate, it's fabulous. It really is fabulous. And it's landscape as well. Because they've been a bit sparse of all the latest offerings. They've been mainly portraits, haven't they? But this is landscape, and it just, I know exactly where it's going to go as well. You might even see that later, hanging on the wall in a little Kilty quick bite, whatever the hell I call it. Kilty's tasty bites. The little tiny little videos I do, off the cuff sort of thing. Certificate X as well. There is a decapitation in it. The whole theme of the dead coming back, people being throttled, people being hit with polystyrene rocks, just the dead, the entire nightmare sequence of the hands coming off the ground and the dead shivering off the soil from their faces and then attacking, well, her husband in the big, after seeing his wife rise from the grave and then get decapitated, so killed a second time. And then shock, he collapses, in this reverie, this stupor. And then, but straight away in the film, it cuts from that attack scene to him in the same graveyard, and all the dead rise up around him, and they all surround him, and one looms up behind and gets him on the neck. And then he wakes up, and he thinks the whole thing was just a dream. But the thing about Alice, and the great Andre Morel, his mentor, professor, Sir James Forbes, who's the hero. He's the Dr. Watson / Sherlock Holmes / Van Helsing of this movie. He says to him, "Oh, no, sorry Peter, that part was true. Yes, your wife is still dead, and I did chop her head off with a spade." But look at that, that is great. And he's a superb villain as well. And really, Trick or Treat Studios, you've got the license for Hammer stuff now. And I think I've got all the masks. No, I haven't got the Christopher Lee Dracula mask, which you've done. Mainly because it doesn't look like Christopher Lee, I don't think. All the rest of the masks you've done have looked amazing, but I hung fire on that one because it just doesn't look that good. And I'm shocked, I didn't buy it. But you really ought to do Ben Harris and do that mask as well. And I know I've done my little version of it there, and it's kind of easy to make. So I do intend to make a full size for my own big bouffanted head. Do my own version of that Squire Hamilton mask. It's great with it's got blood spattered on it because of the ritual sacrifices he does with a huge, fucking big, huge dagger. And then it's got these little sort of hairs coming out of it, the cheeks and the chin. These like black strands of twine, or in this case here, I use just a bit of wire, bit of black wire, but still very, very effective though. It's a great startling image and one of the most frightening in Hammer. Just to see him there with this horrible mask on, blood spattered, with a woman on a sacrificial altar and this huge dagger splattering with blood and all that, like, and voodoo drums, you know, because he's got his own Haitian voodoo drummers down in the Cornish tin mines. He's brought them over. Try and fill the screen with it that way. Ooh. Plague of the Zombies. And when Alice rises from the grave, she's just got one line there. It's Andre Morel and Alice's husband Peter, played by, oh, I've forgotten his name now. It's Brooke Williams. Not the best actor in the world, but they're retreating in horror as Alice begins to grin with this huge rictus grin, and she starts coming towards them. Great shots of people, zombies coming towards the camera, right into the shot itself, and only moving at the last moment. It happens a lot in the movie, but it's really effective. And they're retreating from her, and like, but as she gets off the grave, Andre Morel, as Sir James, just goes, pushes Peter back, like, he goes, zombie, zombie. It's a great delivery. It just, one word, just completely encapsulates the entire genre and everything that Hammer was trying to do with this movie, which would then go on into, you know, Romero and Fulci and Walking Dead and all that. Zombie. Although they never say the word zombie in Walking Dead, which really, really, really pisses me off. No, walkers. Oh, fuck off, walkers. They're zombies. What else? You've all read the books. You've all seen the movies. You know, you've got to destroy the brain. For God's sake, they are zombies. The living dead. Walkers. Well, and biters. Just fucking say zombie once in a while. Steve, my friend, you are always and forevermore awesome. Many, many thanks. And you got this one. You definitely got this one. I was on the right path. I'm trying to vindicate myself now. I was on the right path, but I'm going to put some more of that voodoo stuff on because I like it so much. I just love the drums. There we go. What's that now? I'm trying to vindicate myself. I was on the right path with the voodoo thing. I was definitely there with that, but I didn't tie it up with the zombies and Hammer. I was thinking it's Bond. It's got to be Bond. If it's not Bond, it's voodoo. If it's not voodoo, it's Bond. Maybe it's Bond and voodoo. It's Live and Let Die. No, it was the Plague of the Zombies. Steve, mate, another classic. Cheers, my friend. Folks, I'll be back later in this same 24-hour period, which means nothing in the time scale of YouTube, because you can watch it anytime you damn well want. I record this now, you watch it in 10 years' time, if we're still here, because climate change, mate, climate change. Apparently, we've got about 20 years to go before it's the human race is flambéed. Zombie, flambe. Folks, I have been, always shall be, Kilt-Man at your services. Please keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic. Enjoy what you do, and if you enjoy it, you'll do it well. That's the main thing. If you're not enjoying it, you'll make a right hash of it, so don't fucking bother. If it's pissing you off, stop doing it right away and go and do something that you enjoy. Says the guy that's about to open the laptop and start working for a living. The shame of it. Folks, please keep it Kilted, keep it Celtic. I'm going to see you all. Ladies, they come back from the grave to do their master's bidding. And if they're female, prefer them when they're alive though, don't you? You know what I mean? Warmer that way, is it not?